Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. I hope you are having a great day. Let's start with today's stories. Am I the idiot for refusing to tell my mom my new address? I, 23, female, recently moved in with my boyfriend, 23, male. We've been dating for a couple years now and my parents didn't know about him. This was because they would not approve for various reasons, different religion/culture/race. Well, they found out. Believe it or not, but my mom got suspicious and followed me, saw me with him. They gave me absolute hell and I don't think I cried that much in years. The things they said about me and my boyfriend were extremely hurtful and I decided enough was enough. My boyfriend immediately had me move in and my sister helped. It's been a couple months now and my mom has cooled down. My dad won't talk to me but I don't give AF anymore. My mom and I will have civil conversations though she hasn't apologized yet for following me, don't think she ever will. Anyways, none of them know my address. My sister and friends do, but my parents do not. They have absolutely no idea where I am. And while my mom claimed not to care the first months, she began asking me to give her the address so she knows I'm safe and where to look if something ever happened. Thing is, I don't want to. She promises she won't tell my dad until he cools down, but I don't believe her. I also don't want her to come over and find more things to judge my boyfriend for either. The pros just don't seem to outweigh the cons for me. My mom's really upset about this. She keeps saying that she's just trying to make sure her daughter is safe and that I don't understand how scared she is. She said that I'm being inconsiderate towards her and causing her a lot of stress. My boyfriend said that it's ultimately my choice but he'd prefer that my dad doesn't find out, lol. My sister doesn't know what she'd do but said that our mom is pretty stressed. I feel a little bad but again, I don't feel it's worth it. Am I the idiot? OP gives more info in the comments. I live in a different city now, so I'm kind of holding on to that, but I'm going to try and avoid visiting and having my sister and friends visit, just in case. My sister's relationship with my parents is a lot worse than mine. She's been going against them since she was like 12. I was the one that always followed their rules. So I don't believe she'll crack. She's never cracked in her life when it comes to them. But they've also never found out about any of her boyfriends, so. Unfortunately, I am from one of those cultures. While I don't necessarily think my dad would ever stoop that low, I feel like my fears are valid, considering it does happen. Your mom said you were being inconsiderate towards her? This is the same woman who stalked you, attacked you and your boyfriend verbally? I didn't realize how ridiculous her inconsiderate statement was until reading these comments. Now I'm getting angry again, because there is no way the woman who stalked me, took pictures of me kissing my boyfriend, and showed them to my dad right in front of me, and laughed when my dad called me terrible names, is the same woman that claims to care about me. Moms don't do that. I wouldn't do that at least. If your mom is being 100% genuine, I understand her concern about not having your address in case of an emergency. But I also completely understand your side, and also your boyfriend's side, of not wanting a person, or in this case, people who have already said so many bad things to and about you, that have already hurt you so much, know where you live. When you have moved from where you were living before, to get away from them. Remember this, you had to move because you couldn't handle your parents' bullying. I really hope that your mom has changed and that she genuinely accepts your relationship now, but your father won't even talk to you. Is he a risk to you or your boyfriend? Has he ever threatened you? If he somehow got your address, do you think he would try something bad? Would you feel safe if you knew he knew where you lived? And what about your boyfriend? Would he be safe? You also have to consider that because of her past actions, the way your mom is acting now, it could be all a trap to find out where you live. I really hope it is not the case. I hope she has accepted your relationship and is okay with it. But if you give her your address, there is a chance that your father finds out. Is this a risk worth taking? Only you can answer. But you're definitely not the idiot here. Now let's read what the comments say. Not the idiot, but prepare for what you do if she finds out through other means, because if she followed you once, she will again. This. I didn't give my mom my new address when I moved, but she still found me. I think in my case, my sister may have given it to her, though, so OP should be careful in more ways than one. Yes, exactly. Also, you two talk over the phone. You can FaceTime her so she can see you. Be careful for background info. None of her reasons are valid to know your and your boyfriend's address. Recent events show it's not a good idea for your parents to know where you are. Not the idiot, do not give her your address. Mind-boggling how she claims caring about your safety, but ambushed you and forced basically your hand to move out. It's about safety, not control. Sure. Not the idiot, if there's a real emergency your sister and friends know where you are, it's not like nobody knows your address besides the two of you. Your mom needs to learn that there are consequences to her actions and she has to live with them. Not the idiot. Don't tell her. The last thing you need is your dad finding out, and then deciding to do something stupid like grab you to deprogram you or to save you. Keep your address to yourself and keep you and your boyfriend safe. And what do you guys think of this situation? What would you do if you were OP? Do you think OP is right to be worried, or is she exaggerating? Don't forget to leave your comments down below. Am I the idiot for charging my son rent after he collected an inheritance? Last year, my aunt died and she left me her 3-bedroom house in a nice area. I could easily rent it for $3,000 a month or sell for $1 million. I'm being bombarded with offers. However, the place needs a lot of repairs, and after paying taxes, I don't have the money to do it and haven't decided to rent or sell. My oldest son, Franklin, is 23 and just finished college. He works for an engineering company. Basically, I said he could live there as long as he pays the bills, taxes, utilities, etc., and starts fixing what he can so I am neither losing or making money. In the meantime, I can start saving money for bigger projects and repairs, and my son can keep an eye on the house. It will take a few years minimum to finish everything. Recently, Jeremy received a $238,000 inheritance from his maternal grandfather. The first thing he bought was a Porsche. I feel like he can afford rent. All I am doing is subsidizing a rich kid's housing expenses. Plus my finances are starting to take a hit, and I have 2 other sons from my second marriage. I found out that my son moved in his girlfriend, which I'm not happy about. I talked to my son and I said between his inheritance, moving in his girlfriend, and my finances, that he needs to start paying rent. He got furious with me and said I was trying to rip him off and backing out of our deal. Then he said that I'd use the money to make the house presentable and sell/rent when I should just give it to him. I said I'm not dropping this and I'll back with an offer, but he will pay rent. OP gives more information in the comments. Info: did he make repairs and labor on the house? OP: not a lot. Info: why would anyone pay $3,000 a month for a place that needs a lot of repairs? This story has a lot of holes that don't add up. OP: because of its location. Look, this place is yours, and technically you can do whatever you want with it. From the beginning of your post, it seems like you don't really want it, or better said, you don't want to have the responsibility for it. So you passed the responsibility of taking care of this property to your son. Which was going fine, so to speak, until he inherited a large amount of money, and started spending it in a way that apparently you don't agree with. And now, he moved his girlfriend in, who you're not a fan of, to the house that is technically still yours, without your permission. My question is, would you still be charging him for rent, if he wasn't spending his inheritance the way you didn't like? Or if you approve of his girlfriend? Also, Could it be that you are feeling a little jealous of your son's financial situation? Even more so, since he continues to live for free at your house, a house in which you intended to make some financial gain. And now you saw the opportunity to have it. Honestly, I think you should make an offer for your son to buy the place. I don't know what your financial situation is at the moment, but I don't think you have the luxury to just give it to him. So I think you should either sell it to him or ask him to leave, and you sell it or rent it to other people. But I don't think starting to charge him rent now is a good idea. Even more so with all the legal issues surrounding rental contracts. Oh, I also don't know what the situation with the work he did on the house. Will you have to refund him somehow? How much did he fix? How much did the value of the property improve with the work he did? Do you know? So, I get why your son was upset. You're kind of acting like the idiot OP, and I think it's time you try to stop being one. And what do you guys think about this? Do you agree with OP or do you think he is taking advantage of his son? Now let's read what the comments say. So he was paying the taxes, utilities, etc. on this place, and fixing what he could? That doesn't sound exactly like he was freeloading to me. If anyone was subsidizing someone else, he was allowing you to keep this building and possibly even make it more valuable to you. Sure, it's your house, and you can certainly insist he starts paying rent, but you're definitely going back on your original deal. Feel free to cut a new offer or kick him out, but none of that changes the fact that you are the idiot. Also OP, you can charge rent, but that also means entering a contract as a renter and landlord, so your son no longer does all the other stuff he used to, taxes, etc., and anything broken or not functioning needs to be fixed by the landlord. You are the idiot. You allowed him to move in under the expectations that he prevents you from incurring losses in the property. That was the bargain you struck, for better or for worse. You are the a-hole because you no longer want to honor your deal because he experienced some good fortune. You are well within your legal rights to demand he leave the property if you so choose. But you're the a-hole nonetheless. Honor your agreement. I had a fair deal with my son that benefited both of us, but then one of his loved ones died, and I thought to myself, but how can this benefit me? You are the idiot. All I am doing is subsidizing a rich kid's housing expenses. That's a really odd way for a millionaire to talk about their own son. You made a deal with your son to benefit the both of you. His inheritance doesn't change the nature of the deal. But, as soon as he can afford to pay more, you opportunistically decide he has to, and you justify it by pointing to behaviors that are completely irrelevant to the agreement you struck. You are the idiot. And what about you guys? Do you agree with the comments? Or do you have other opinions? Don't forget to leave in the comments what you think. Oh, are you enjoying the video so far? If so, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notifications to know when a new video is out. This helps the channel, so I really appreciate it. Now let's go to the last story. Am I the idiot for getting my daughter a hotel room entirely for herself after her stepsisters made her sleep on the floor? My dad passed away 2 weeks ago. Me, my wife Candace, and my daughter, 16, Shiloh, and her stepsisters, 19, and 17, flew to my hometown to attend the funeral. After that we got 2 hotel rooms, one for me and Candace, one for the girls. While I was in the room, I got a call from Shiloh at 11 p.m. crying and sounded like she was arguing with her stepsisters. I asked what the matter was and she told me that her stepsisters insisted that she sleep on the floor. There was one large bed in the room and there was enough space for all 3 girls to sleep on. I asked why and she said she didn't know. I went to see what the issue was and talked with my stepdaughters about it. They kept talking but didn't really explain why they told her to sleep on the floor. They just shrugged and said it's better this way, we're more comfortable this way. I told Shiloh to grab her things, and when one of my stepdaughters asked where we were going, I told her I was booking her a hotel room. Both looked upset but didn't say anything, but they must have called their mom because she was awake when I got back and started arguing with me about giving Shiloh an entire hotel room for herself. I explained why I did it, but she said I wasted money and that Shiloh could have sucked it up for one night on the floor. I called her unreasonable for saying this, but she told me I showed the girls that I'm playing favorites and made my stepdaughter share a room while I gave my daughter an entire room for herself. We went home and Candace is still bringing it up, saying I mishandled this. She even pointed out how my stepdaughters are upset since they're not speaking to me. Edit, it was Candace who got a room for the 3 girls so as to not stir any drama and save money. She was in charge of hotel reservations since I was emotionally distressed. Also, Candace did not expect Shiloh to sleep on the floor. She wanted all 3 girls to share the bed. Edit 2, for those that are calling me an a-hole for giving my daughter her name. Her mom did that and she's deceased, so please let's not focus on that. And also, I've known my stepdaughters since they were little. We're pretty much family and Candace is a stay-at-home mom, but I give her full access to my money since this stuff was already discussed beforehand. Pretty much everything was. Okay, from OP's last edit, is marriage it's not new, they've all known each other for years, so it's not like the stepdaughters were going to sleep with a stranger. I understand that the girls may have found sharing a bed with 3 people to be uncomfortable, but it doesn't give them the right to make your daughter sleep on the floor. Even more so, when the reason she went on this trip was to attend her grandfather's funeral. Couldn't they ask for an extra bed? Or even a mattress? Look, I don't know if there's something else going on between them, some fight that you don't know about, but putting their stepsister to sleep on the floor isn't good at all. Also, did they always treat your daughter with an air of superiority? Like they are better than her? I think it's time for you to start to analyze how your daughter is treated in your own home. And why is your wife still complaining about this weeks later? What did she expect of you? To just leave your daughter sleeping on the floor? I'm sure if it were one of her daughters, she would freak out. Even more so, when she was the one who booked a room for 3 people with just 1 bed. Honestly, I would have put the wife and her 2 entitled daughters in one room, and you and your daughter in another. And since the wife thought there was more than enough space, they could manage. Oh, and by the way, I do believe someone here is playing favorites, but it's not OP. Not the idiot OP. And what do you guys think about this? Now let's read the comments. What I'm getting from this is that your stepdaughters were trying to live up to the Disney depiction of stepsisters and were shocked when they couldn't just bully her into getting what they want. What's extra gross is that they did it when coming back from Shiloh's grandparents' funeral. Talk about being cruel. You're definitely not the idiot. But also, what the F is wrong with Candace if she sees this as playing favorites? Her daughters tried to make yours sleep on the floor for fun. Sounds like the apples don't fall far from the tree. Have you pointed out your daughter is also upset because of the situation and she is playing favorites? Worse, the stepsisters got what they wanted, but were upset that the person who they took advantage of was accommodated. Definitely not the idiot in this instance since he didn't book the room, but he would be the idiot if he doesn't address this now. What should have been an act of goodwill by Candace in taking over room arrangements so he could handle grieving became a power move. The fact she thinks Shiloh, the only one with a real bond to the recently deceased grandparent, should have sucked it up and slept on the floor is very telling. This is a hill to die on, OP. Don't trust her to make arrangements in the best interests of anyone going forward and have a serious sit-down about how this whole thing was handled, including her attitude towards the girls and the way she tried to darvo this to make it your fault. You do not want your child spending years being bullied, and I can promise you that those girls learned it from someone. I'm betting it wasn't their bio dad. Make sure Shiloh knows she can come to you because bullies can choose to keep going and just get better about hiding it. Not to mention she is making the trip not about him losing his father and grieving but about her daughters feeling slighted. I mean, his daughter also just lost her grandfather and they think, hey, let's make her sleep on the floor. Not the idiot. Well, they couldn't successfully bully this Cinderella because her father is still alive. OP, if something tragic should happen to you, do you really believe your wife would take good care of your daughter if you're no longer around? Is that the way you'd want her to be treated after your passing? Because look at how they're all treating her after her grandfather's passing. The sequence of events, as factually stated. OP's father died. That's how this starts. OP's stepdaughters and daughter share a hotel room. Stepdaughters tell daughter that they want their bed, so daughter will need to sleep on the floor. OP books daughter a separate hotel room so she doesn't have to sleep on the floor. At no point did I see OP playing favorites. Were it me in that scenario, I'd be hard-pressed to not have my kids sleep on the bed while the stepkids figure it out. Not the idiot, but woo boy, this one's a steamer. And what do you think of this situation? Do you agree with the comments? Would you have done something different than what OP did? Don't forget to comment what you think. And that's it for today, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time.